Hey guys, I want to talk about Fatwood a little bit today. There seems to be some confusion out there about just what Fatwood is. Um, I saw a guy on eBay that was selling cedar, and he said it's just like Fatwood. Well, it's not just like Fatwood; it's entirely different. YouTube, there's a fellow on there. Saw him taking little bitty sticks of pine and soaking them in wax, and he said he was making Fatwood. Now, that's not Fatwood either, that's a fire starter. Another fellow on YouTube, uh, see him cutting a branch off a live pine tree, and he said, well, that's Fatwood. Well, that's not Fatwood, that's pine wood. This right here, this is Fatwood. I don't know if you can see the sun there reflecting through that, but basically what Fatwood is sometimes, not always, but sometimes when a pine tree dies, all the sap in the tree will run back down to the root system and the trunk, and it solidifies. So what you're left with is pine wood that is thoroughly impregnated with sap, and that sap solidifies. That gives you this. This is Fatwood. Fatwood is kind of a natural fire starter. It's been around, since, I don't know, beginning of time. But the cool thing with Fatwood is that sap makes pine, which is relatively flammable anyway, but it makes pine wood very flammable. The sap, being all the way through the wood, also makes Fatwood waterproof. Now, Fatwood and a ferro rod are my go-to fire starting method. Ferro rod, little chunk of Fatwood right there on it. Always got this with me. This works all the time. Fatwood and a ferro rod is not affected by cold, snow like this. It's not affected by elevation. You go up in the mountains with a lighter, your lighter's not going to work because of the altitude. Won't have any pressure. You can work the ferro rod, Fatwood, with gloves on. It's amazing. Fall in a pond, crawl out of a frozen pond, Fatwood's going to work. Shake it off, make some shavings, light it up, it's going to work. It's got to be pine, it's got to be Fatwood. Juniper, spruce, yew, cedar, none of those are going to work. It's got to be pine, and it's got to be resin impregnated pine. Some people call it lighter wood, pine knot. There's other names for it, enriched pine, some people call it. And you can find it just about anywhere that pine trees grow. People go around, they'll find old rotten stumps out in a pine forest, and they'll thunk them with a machete or a hatchet or something, and if the rot knocks off and the inside's solid, they'll cut into there and get them a little chunk. Then they'll split it down into pieces like this, and then they'll split this into smaller pieces like this. That's where your Fatwood comes from. But you gotta have the real stuff. So, show you how this works. Basically, you take your Fatwood, put it down on something solid. Hell, you can put it on the toe of your boot and do it if you want to. Don't have to worry about getting it wet. You can do it right in the snow if you want to. Just pick up the shavings. The way I like to do it is I hold my knife at a 90-degree angle, and I just rake it like this. You can make a feather stick out of it. You can make your little shavings out of it, that kind of thing. But what you're left with is little shavings. I like fuzz. So put that on there like so. You just rake that knife down your piece of Fatwood like this. See all those little pieces of fuzz coming off? That leaves you with some fantastic tinder. Show you what I got here. That's what we're looking at. Little old fuzz like that. This stuff will ignite and burn with a vengeance. See if we can light us up some here. There we go. It's as easy as that. Notice the black smoke. Fatwood burns very hot. And with that resin content in there, it burns with very black smoke. It doesn't take much of a spark to get that stuff to go. You get it down there fine like that. Little ferro rod like this will do the trick. Any kind of little spark, it only takes one. Just got to be that right one. Anyway, folks, that's Fatwood. It's good stuff. If you can get a hold of a chunk of this, I recommend that you do so. Take it out and play with it. You're going to like it. Alright, I'm Dave with Blackthorn-USA. Check us out on the web, blackthorn-usa.com. We'll see you next time.